After over 5 years of development, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is finally out. It has sold over 1 million copies, and while all of this should be very positive, there's been a number of unforced errors out of the studio, in part of their director, which I wanted to talk about and dispel some of the things that I found to be a bit incorrect of some news that's going around. So to start out, my name is Ojiro. Been developing games for a decade and a half. And in the case of Kingdom Come, got a game that is based in early 1400s Bohemia. 1400s in Europe is a really fascinating time. You saw a lot of really titanic shifts in the landscape with, while this is talking about Bohemia and its fight with Hungary. Later in the century, you would have things like the Hungarian throne being empty, which caused Austria to merge into Austria-Hungary, making the Habsburg dynasty the de facto strongest power in all of the Holy Roman Empire. They were pretty much consistently the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, which was an electorate. Biggest thing about the Holy Roman Empire, it was neither holy nor Roman nor an empire because, politics. But this is the start of a really fascinating stretch of time. On paper, I was like, oh, this is really good. And while I'm not buying games right now due to the fact that I'm unemployed, you would see the creative director by the name of Daniel Vavra that would initially get a lot of positive reviews online because he was making observations on how a lot of things like DEI and ESG were coming into companies and really changing the creative landscape for a lot of games that were coming out. Some people would see this paired with some news that came out of gay romance between the main character and some others in the game and would treat it as being a betrayal. While some others would say, oh, look, it's a you choose your own adventure kind of deal, do whatever. You'd have others that were saying because there was gay romance in it, it was a woke game and they weren't going to buy it. In general, I don't like I don't like the word woke because it is a word that changes meaning from person to person. You've got some people that will insist that woke is anything that is gay. You've got some people that insist that having women in it, something is woke. On my end, I view it as forced political messaging that is inappropriate to the story, to the detriment of the story. But he would go off on one particular individual, this John Del Arroz here. He has really talked a lot about how he does not like the gay sex scenes that you can get into in the game. It's been community noted in this particular post, and has talked a lot about how this is insulting to Christianity. Now, if you don't want to buy a game that has any kind of anything that you do not deem fit, it is wholly within your right. If you don't want to have a game because you have the option for any kind of gay scenes in it, like by all means do it. If you want to not buy it because there's not enough gay scenes, by all means do it. It's your money, it's your time. Those things are very important. So you should put your money where you want to put it. However, in the case of this individual, the creative director would keep going off on this guy pretty much nonstop. So this post here is the creative director bringing up a post from this John guy from March of 2019, where it seems like in the past he was a bit of a furry. And this is not just a one-off thing. Like he would go, John would make some kind of comment, and then the creative director would post a picture of a guy in a fursuit. Now, I'll move that away for now. I don't think it is a good idea for anyone that is like a director or above to really start going after individuals on social media. If you want to make a one-off like, hey, this thing isn't true or whatever, that's fine. But to consistently attack someone like this, like I went from being like, oh yeah, cool, this game looks like kind of like Mountain Blade 2 Banner Lords, like this could be like potentially a really fun game, to just feeling like, man, what is wrong with this guy? It's extremely unprofessional for someone that is coming out with what looks like it's going to be a very successful game, going off of individuals. Even if he's like, oh, well, these are just like anti woke idiots. Like, if you think they're an idiot, don't engage with them online. Nothing good comes from it. No one, like, there are going to be people that may partially agree with this kind of stuff. They're then like, you know what? I don't want to support this game because um, I don't like the way this person's behaving. It's really unnecessary. Like it would have been okay. Like there's more to this story where initially he was when it came out that there was potentially the ability to romance same-sex individuals, where they were like, look, we can't share a lot of that information. Some people blew it out of proportion. Um, but the game is out now, sold over 1 million copies. What this individual should be doing in the long history of making games when you get your game out is drink with your colleagues or party with them. You get your bugs fixed as they come in, and then you should be celebrating as a team. But this guy is pretty consistently going off on people on social media, which is really unnecessary. Now, I did see some other news coming out from this came out of Pirate Nation. Looks like over 320,000 people have seen this, and it is about how they are banning users from Steam reviews. And at a glance, you're like, oh, this is bad. That's not good. Because while Warhorse Studios, the people that developed the game, are not in charge of the Steam front, that is the publisher's job. The publisher has engaged with, I think the name was Plyon, which is a group that is meant to handle a lot of this moderation for these Steam forums and the like. And they're crazies. Like let's just put that out there. But if we look at the Steam community in general, they allow a great deal of negative reviews. You've got some people that are like, look, I get to, gay relationships. I can't approve this. Individuals saying the developers were mocking Christianity. Like there's a great deal of negative reviews here. We look at this particular review here at the end. It talks about how it will be, quote, I'll be sailing the high seas on this one. See you there. Now, if you're going to make a review and talk about pirating the game, don't be surprised if the people that are running the storefront decide to ban you. All this other stuff, you could say it's because they're talking about it in Great Embracer Group or the on the website. If I were to chalk it up to anything, it's probably a terms of service issue with making a call to piracy. I I'm not surprised this particular one got banned. I would not treat this as a huge, like some culling of people that have bad reviews, because there are plenty of bad reviews for this particular game. One final thing before we go. The game sold 1 million copies, which roughly is probably about $40 million US. I think we should all expect it to sell at least $100 million worth. So another, like, they need to sell basically 2.5 million copies if I were to say this would be a big commercial success for this game. I haven't run any numbers, but 5 years of development, even though it's in a, we're seeing a lot of really expensive games coming out. And I would expect that this particular title is probably going to expect at least $100 million in revenue before they are going to internally call it any kind of success. I think it has the potential to get there. I don't know if it is quite there yet. These are extremely expensive endeavors when you're making these kinds of games. We'll keep an eye on it. If they made $1 million in the first day, I would imagine if the reviews are going up the way they are, which I believe they are sitting at, let me go back to the store page. Yeah, very positive, 13,000 reviews, 90%. I think they very much could hit their numbers much sooner than later if that kind of ratio keeps going on. But that's for later. And that is all I have for this particular title. I am going to, I'm a bit behind in making videos this week. I had a number of interviews early this week that took up a lot of my time. Same with over the weekend with interview prep. So I'm going to be uh, posting some other videos in the next couple of days to get caught up on some of the news that I missed out on that I wanted to comment on. But for now, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day and thank you for your time. Farewell.